It's good to be back. I was here, I don't know, 3, 4 years ago, something like that.
2 years ago.
How many years?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. That wasn't so far. Yeah, that was like 50 shows ago. But glad to be back and glad to see you guys here. Thank you all for coming. Hello, sir.
How's it going?
I'm good,
I'm
good.
moderating today, but I'm sure you don't even need me.
I see.
I'm Alan Sanchez, and
This is Alan Sanchez.
yeah, and I wanted to let you know that I'm obviously a big fan. I grew up watching the Power Rangers. I'm sure you hear that all the time, and you got to hang out with one of my good buddies, Donovan. So
Nice.
he's a good dude. So
He's a great dude.
and you're in good company here. So this is a Q&A for everyone to just, if you have questions, we'll talk throughout, but raise your hand at any time. Make sure you speak up loudly so the people in the back can hear you. And this is your chance to get those questions answered that you always thought about as a big Power Ranger fan. So I'm going to start off with any questions right at the top. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is about a recent music video you ran with Ezra Miller and directed by Zack Snyder. How'd you get involved in that, and what was that like?
I got a call from a friend of mine who was like, hey, we're doing this shoot up in, what was it? It's in, not Palm Springs, but with the bonsai tree, Joshua Tree.
Okay.
Yeah, Joshua Tree. So he was like, bro, we're doing this video. Do you want to be part of it? And I was like, you know what? I got nothing to do today. I'll go up. Sounds like a good reason to come hang out and have a little bit of adventure. And I work with a lot of those guys in New Orleans at a Comic-Con. So it would be cool to go and hang out with them and see them some more and do a little video. I had no idea what the video was about. I had no clue. I just knew I was going to go and partake and, you know, have fun. And it was a good time. We went up to Joshua Tree. We spent the night. We shot some crazy, weird stuff in the desert. And this really cool place. It was called the Invisible House. And what it is it's this huge rectangular house on stilts in the middle of the desert, and the glass is all mirrored. So it's hard to see because it looks like when you look at the building, you're seeing a reflection of the mountains, which is beautiful. And so we hung out, we did the video, and it was a lot of fun. It was cool. All those guys are great.
Go ahead.
What do you think about the superpower beatdown that they do? And have you ever considered doing a superpower beatdown like they do in First Kid?
I don't know, I think that's pretty cool, the superpower beatdown, because like then you get to compare the powers of all these different superheroes. Obviously, it's not necessarily accurate. It's just, you know, the world of opinion. But I think it's fun. I think it's a lot of fun. I would love to be part of it. It would be fun. I would love to don the suit and go beat down with some other superhero. That would be cool. As long as they're not one of us. You know, Rangers don't have to fight Rangers unless it's Tommy, and then we gotta bring him back to his senses. Like, come on, man, you're a good person.
When Tommy was, when they did the primetime special, I remember it was just like, it's such an event. You know, like it was at night, it was like, okay. Talk about the hype. Did you feel it that long ago? I mean, there was really no internet or anything like that, but did you still feel the hype, like this is prime time?
Well, yeah, I mean, anytime a show is, Power Rangers has been featured in the evening or at the movie theater or even like some of the cliffhangers we have on the show where, you know, tune in tomorrow and find out what happened to the Rangers. Either we lost our swords or there was a, you know, Jason was missing or whatever, like all those different things that made you guys go crazy and be like, oh, I have to get there tomorrow. Mom, gotta get there on time, gotta find out what's going on. That was awesome because that wasn't really available to kids at the time. I mean, like in television, for adults, they often have cliffhangers where, you know, you tune in tomorrow to find out who killed such and such. But for Power Rangers, for kids to have that, it was very soap opera, you know. And it was very cool because you guys were so excited. Loved it. Yes. Yes, you.
How did it feel being a Power Ranger, and like how was it like working with the other Power Rangers?
All right, so when the show first started, we were 5 actors who didn't know each other, and we were working together, and we built this camaraderie among our team so that it would show as our characters. And I think we had a great chemistry together as a team. The original cast, and then Jason Frank joined us, and he also became part of our group. But he was always kind of the outsider, insider kind of guy, you know. it was really cool to go through that experience together, to be considered to be a Power Ranger. You know, it was like, I had this weird experience where one time I was walking through the mall, and this little girl was with her mother, and they saw me, and the little girl goes, "Mom, look, it's Zack, the Power Ranger." And I'm like, you know, I'm walking around this Walter Jones in the mall. I'm like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you." You know, and I'm being just like regular me or whatever. And she's like, "Someone just stole my mother's purse. Can you morph and get it?" And I was like, my face just cracked. I was like, I don't have a morpher right now. I was like, I'll see what I can do. So I wanted to help, so I did go and talk to security and let people know, and I helped them in that way, but I couldn't. It's one more time, turn to Black Ranger, call out the mastodon, and go stomp on somebody who stole the purse. I wanted to do that, I couldn't do it. I was like, if you got any putties, let me know. I can handle them. But no, it was a really cool experience just being my hero. And this is one thing. I was just in Brazil, this like 2 days ago, and somebody asked me this question. He said, "What is it like? When did you know that you were a hero?" And I was like, "Wow. Okay, well, there was when the show first came out. We were the #1 hit show for kids. It was like that was exciting. I was like, ooh, I'm almost famous. And then people started recognizing me all around the world, and it was like that made me feel like, oh, I'm famous. But I didn't feel like a hero. Not yet. I felt like a hero when you guys got older. When you guys got to be older, and instead of being kids, you guys got to tell me the stories of who you became and why you became it. When people start telling me stories like, I got motivated to become this person because I was inspired by you, or you gave me hope to become this, then I went, wow, I made a difference. I made a difference in the world. And I didn't mean to. I mean, like, it's not like I didn't mean to, but I was just being me. I was just working as an actor. I created this character. This character was cool, and people were inspired. They got hope from that character, and they went on to do amazing things. And now that I hear these stories, then the stories are real. It's cool because it's like it's not from somebody else. It's not somebody going, yeah, my friend did this because he liked you. It's somebody coming to me and going, you know, when I was a kid, I was homeless, and I didn't have anybody, and I lived in different places. And then one day I saw Power Rangers, and I made sure that every day at that time I could find a place to go watch the show. And I would watch the show, and it motivated me to be a better person. So I got my education, and when I got my GED, I started working, and you changed my life. To hear something like that is like,
yeah, that's powerful.
Man, that's come here, give me a hug. You know, like that is amazing to have that kind of impact, to leave that kind of a footprint in the world. It's something that everybody wants to do. Everybody wants to leave it, make a difference, make the world a better place. You know, Michael Jackson had that song, make the world a better place, right? And I think we all should strive to do that. We should all strive to be the best that we could be, to be somebody that motivates someone else. I mean, and we all have the ability to be a hero. I mean, if someone is having a bad day, and you give them a hug, and you inspire them, and you help take away their pain, then you've just been a hero. It doesn't take, you don't have to be a soldier, you don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be whatever. As long as you make a difference in the world, as long as you make somebody's day better somewhere. If you gave a homeless person $1 and it was able to get them some food, then you made a difference. It's like these small little things that make a difference in the world. Like they say that like when it rains and the rain hits the water, it leaves these ripples. So we all have the ability to leave ripples in the world. And I'm happy that I've been a motivator for other people to leave ripples. You know?
Yeah, that's awesome. More questions? Yes, sir.
What was your favorite off-camera memory on set?
Favorite off-camera memory on set? On set. There was one time where we did this episode where we were riding ATVs, four-wheelers, and so we're in between takes, and they go, Walter and Austin, we want you to come outside and get on the ATVs and get comfortable with them, because you have to race them in this upcoming scene. So we're like, okay, I'd never ridden an ATV before. I get on it, it's like a motorcycle with 4 wheels, and you gotta be careful because it can flip, you know, you can do too much on it. And so we're riding around in the parking lot, and they got these orange cones, and we're riding between the cones, and learning to turn, and me and Austin were just taking it easy. We're like, 10, 15 miles an hour, vroom, vroom, vroom. All of a sudden, Jason Frank comes out. And then he's like, okay, I gotta ride one too. So they give him his ATV, and he gets on it, and he goes, and just takes up over the parking lot, through the grass, over a hill. We're watching him like go through the grass. He's going crazy. And we're like, they're screaming, Jason, come back, because if we get hurt, there's nobody to work on the show for us. So they don't want us to get hurt. And Jason's just going crazy, and
Is
we
he
see
showing
him.
off, or is he just?
He's just
losing. He lost control.
no, he didn't lose control. He's just taking the freedom that he wants. It's like, forget caution, I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do. And we see him go over this hill, and we see him go over it, he catches air. And we're like,
Oh, no.
oh my God, he's gonna die. And he disappears, and we don't see anything, we can't hear anything, and we're like, is he okay? So all of a sudden, he comes around the corner, yeah! So me and Austin look at each other, and we're like, yeah! Yeah! So we're all, and next thing you know, we're all up in the grass, going through the forest, and we're like riding this ATV going crazy. And the PAs, the poor PAs, are like running around behind us trying to catch us, and like, come back, guys, then we're gonna get in trouble. And we're like, that was a funny moment because where Austin and I were trying to be respectful, we'll just take it easy, we'll follow the rules. Jason Frank came out and went crazy, and we're like, we wouldn't do that. Yeah. So that was fun.
I wonder, like, you obviously you do a lot of these different conventions, and Power Rangers is it's been so popular for so many decades. Has there anybody who walked up to you, like a celebrity in your mind, where you're like, oh, you watch? Or they come up to you like, oh my God, you're my favorite. Anybody who surprised you, or you thought you were like, no, I like you, you're a fan?
No, all the time, man. It's amazing because but yeah, I was we run into people all the time. For instance, we were in England doing a Comic-Con. It was myself, Austin St. John, Karen Ashley, David Yost. It was the four of us who were all out there. And our manager goes, David Radcliffe wants to, Harry Potter, his name is David Radcliffe.
Yeah.
He wants to meet you guys. And we're like, what? And of course, the movies are incredibly huge and popular, and I watched them. I've seen them all, and my kids watched them. So I was like, we were like, oh yeah, we want to go meet him. So here he is. He's got a line around the place, just crazy. All his shows are hit, and he's got a crazy line, and we get to walk up to the front. When we walk up to the front, we're walking over to the table, and we're walking over as ourselves. It's just us, and we're not wearing costumes or anything like that. And he's signing, and he looks up and he sees us, and his face goes, I watched you guys as a kid, and we're like, yo, we watch you right now. It was awesome. We were like, and so he got up, we took photos with him, and yeah, it's like, so stuff like that happens all the time. I met all kinds of people, and a lot of people's kids. Like I met Elvis Presley's kids came to the set when we were working on this show with his wife. That was different. I was like,
Yeah.
that's okay. That's cool. I went to. I never met Michael Jackson, but I did go to his ranch, and every year he would invite a number of kids to come down and hang out from foreign countries, and I went and hung out with the kids, and that was fun. But yeah, lots of different celebrities I bumped into who were like, I grew up with you, man. I was a fan of you. Even people that were on shows at the same time, like Countess Vaughn, and there was a kid I worked with on Moesha, I forget. But Raymond Simone, like, these are people that I watched on TV that I loved watching on TV, but then they were fans of me, and so that was pretty awesome.
Questions? Sir?
What was your favorite Power Rangers besides your own?
What was my favorite series of Power Rangers besides my own?
Yeah.
Well, I've watched a lot of other Power Ranger series. I've watched the Mighty Morphin, well, most of it. I haven't seen all of it. when we were working on the show, we didn't really have time to watch the show, so I would tape it on my VHS. Do you know what that is?
My
Right?
grandpa has one.
My grandpa has a VHS. I would tape it on my VHS, and what it is a big tape. You stick it in this thing, and it's not the same technology we have now, because you put it in there, and you could set a timer for it to record the episode, but it was only 60 minutes long. So if you recorded another show on that show, and you started at a point, it was going to either stop in the middle of your show, and we had commercials, so the commercials would be on there, or somebody else would like see something on TV and press record and record over your tape, so that happened a lot, because I lived in a house of 5 guys, and often I would get home and be like, let me see that episode that came on today, and you know, somebody watched some others, like the Dallas game was on. I was like, dang it! You know? So I didn't get to see all the episodes, but I enjoyed watching them when I could, and one of the episodes, I didn't really watch all the series, but I did see some Time Force, and Aaron Cahill and Jason Plante, those guys, and I was impressed with what I saw. I've seen bits and pieces of other episodes, but I've not really watched the entire series at all.
Go ahead.
What do you miss about being a Power Ranger?
What do I miss about being a Power Ranger? Well, the reality is, I'm never going to stop being a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
It hasn't gone away. Everywhere I go in the world, people know me as a Power Ranger. It's funny, because I'm an actor, and I've done lots of work. I had a show on Nickelodeon called Space Cases. I did Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I did Sabrina Teenage Witch, Family Matters, all these different shows. The Shield, I've done a number of movies, and Power Rangers has stayed. Like, people don't, every now and then somebody will call me a different character, but everybody calls me Zack. And if I'm walking down the street or walking through the market and somebody goes, Zack, I know they're talking about me. And so I'll turn around,
What's up?
hey, what's up? You know, the weird thing is, as I've gotten older, my fans have gotten older, and, you know, if you're a really respectful person, you try to mind your manners, and so a lot of times, you know, younger people will say Mr. Jones, or they'll refer to me that way, but people started going Mr. Taylor, and that was weird. I was like, how did my character get old? That's weird. Zack Taylor is old? Hey, excuse me, Mr. Taylor. Like, no! You have to call me either Zack or Mr. Jones. You know, you can't call me Mr. Taylor. It's weird. I do miss working on the show, meaning we worked every day. We had a great chemistry. That time was magical because it was all happening for the first time to all of us. And we were hustling every day to try to make it the best we could for you guys. And that was a magical moment. So it would be cool to go back to that. And yes, I miss those days. But yeah, I think I'm always going to be a Power Ranger. I'll be the 98-year-old Power Ranger. They're like, there he is, Zack. And I'm like, hey, hip-hop keto. I can't do the move anymore.
Yes, sir, right here.
Will you ever do like a reunion show?
I would like to do a reunion show. The thing is, the show is, how many of you guys know what the difference is between the union and the non-union of television? All right, so if you join the union, which is the Screen Actors Guild, then you are considered a professional actor. And in this professional realm of acting, they have certain rules that productions have to apply to. So they can only make you work a certain amount of hours. They have to pay you a certain amount of, a certain wage. You get residuals. If there's merchandise, you get a part of it. If you get, I mean, these are all things that are negotiated in your contract, and it's the way professionals work. That's why when you see Friends, they're making $1 million an episode. It's because when they do, when the show comes on, the amount of viewers you have watching the show, what makes money is the advertisements, so the commercials. So advertisers pay big money to the TV show, a #1 show, to put their commercial there so everybody can see it, so people will go and buy their product, right? So all that works, it's a trickle down. With Power Rangers, we had the #1 hit show in 40 countries. It was non-union, so all those rules that should apply to us to make sure that we live the life of an artist that's not secure, because when you're an actor, you can have a job on TV and the job can be over and you may never get another job on TV, because it's a very competitive industry. It doesn't mean just because you worked on a show that you're going to work on another show. You have to audition, you have to go through this process. There's always new talent coming. And then there's a few people like Tom Cruise, Will Smith, these people that are gonna have jobs because they are the #1 hit makers. They're the A-list, and everybody wants to get to that place. The show has been a non-union show. It started as a non-union show. They made $1 billion the first year off the episodes. That's $1 billion. That's 99. That's 999 million. Add 1. That's $1 billion, right? So it was a non-union show. So he did that the first year. The second year, it was still a non-union show. Then they said, hey, we're going to do a movie. Fox wants to do a movie with you guys. It's going to be a huge movie, a large budget. We got $1 million budget. It's going to be amazing. We're going to give you the contract. And they gave us the contract, and it was for 3 movies and 40 more episodes, all non-union. So at that point, we felt, this is unfair. This is not right. You've already made more than $1 billion off of us, and we're being paid basically minimum wage. And it's not right. It's not fair. So let's make this union so at least it will be fair for everyone involved. You still make your money. We'll make some money, not what you're making, but it'll be fair to us. And then if we never get another job ever in life, then we're taken care of. Well, we didn't all stick together. So Austin, Twee, and myself, we stood up for what we believed in, which was that we should be treated fairly. And at the end of the day, we ended up just walking away from the show. So that's why I left the show, and I have no regrets because I believe that I did the right thing and set it up for myself, because I think you should. If you are being treated unfairly, if you're being bullied, stand up for yourself. And that's what I did. So.
Yeah, I agree completely.
What was it? Space Cases was actually one of my favorite shows. I have it on VHS tape.
Yes.
What was your favorite thing about the set?
So if you guys didn't see Space Cases, what it was kind of a Star Trek for kids, and I was Captain Kirk, right? And it was cool because the concept is these 5 teenagers, but from different planets. I was the only Earthling. Everybody else was from a different planet with different powers and so forth and so on. We go aboard this alien ship. The ship takes off into space and goes through a time warp. And there's only 2 adults on the ship. The rest of us are kids, but the ship logs us on as the crew and the adults as the passengers, so they can't control anything. So now we're traveling around space, trying to get back home, going through these different warpholes and going to these different situations, meeting aliens, going to alien worlds and all this stuff, and we have to handle it as the crew. So, and I was the captain. So it was a really fun show. The ship was the Krista. That's what it was called. And the way we would go from one level to the next level is we had sliding tubes. So we had these crystals we would move, you'd get in the tube and you would slide down and come up into another room. Like, engine room, gotta slide down. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun about it. The tube was not that long, but it was cool to go down. It was a lot of fun working that cast. What was odd is I was working, at the time I was about 29 years old. And I was working with the entire cast. All my cast were under 15. So I was playing the same age as them, but I was an old dude, right? So I would work, and after the day was over, I would be getting dressed to go out and go hang out at the club. I'm gonna go party tonight, all right? And they would look at me and go, "Why are you dressing up? Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to the." We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. 13, gotcha. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun working on this show. Unfortunately, the seasons got cut early. We did 2 seasons. We're on the way to do a 3rd season, but then I got offered to work with Aaron Spelling on a show called Malibu Shores. And that was very promising because Aaron Spelling had done tons of hit shows. He had Starsky and Hutch, he had Dukes of Hazzard, Charlie's Angels, all these hit shows, and it was like Beverly Hills 90210, yeah, Melrose Place, and I was like, all right, if I'm gonna work on a show, I wanna work with Aaron Spelling. So I left my show where I was the star of, and I went to this Aaron Spelling show. It was a good show. It was a great show. They did 1 full season, and they put it on Fridays at 9 o'clock. So Pride is at 9 o'clock, geared towards teenagers. No teenagers are home at 9 o'clock on a Friday. It's like, this time to go out, I'm gonna be with my friends, we're gonna be doing whatever. Nobody's watching TV, so unfortunately, the show ended only after a season. But there were a lot of great actors that came out of that show. Charisma Carpenter, Essence Atkins, Felicity, what's her name?
Carrie Russell.
Carrie Russell.
Tony Luca.
Tony Luca.
I
yeah.
watched that show too.
Yeah, it was a great show, man, great show. So it was fun. I was happy to work on that. In the back, yeah.
We're going to ask you, what inspired you to create, to mix both karate and dance to create hip-hop keto?
Hip-hop keto. All right, so everybody know what hip-hop keto is?
Yep.
All right, so on the show, everybody had their martial arts styles. And Zack had his own form of karate. Zack's the only Power Ranger to ever have his own form of martial arts. And it was called hip-hop keto. No, so at the time, it was 1992 that we did the pilot. And Saban is trying to get this show sold. And he's throwing everything in there. We got dinosaurs, we got martial arts, we got teenagers, we got ethnicities from all walks of life, we got robots, we got all these different things. And what else is super popular at that time? Hip-hop. Crisscross and make it jump, jump, right? So it was like, hip-hop was big, and they were like, we're gonna add hip-hop to this. So what they decided was they wanted the character Zack Taylor to be able to do hip-hop keto. But it didn't exist. It's not something that was in the world. So the audition required all the actors to dance, do martial arts and gymnastics, and then put it together to create their own form of martial arts. So I went into the audition, and my agent told me that they want you to do this, 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 this. All right, I got that. So I went in and I said, so, you know, we're gonna have you read the sides. So I read the scene, and I was an actor. I have a degree in musical theater, so I was confident in my acting ability. And I went in, oh, this is easy. Teenager, you know, kind of funky, is cool. Hey, you know. They were like, that was really good. All right, now, can you do any martial arts? I said, yeah. So I studied Ishinryu when I was a kid. From like 9 to 12, I was a brown belt. I was the Pee Wee Michigan State champion.
That's right.
Right? So I was pretty good at martial arts. I definitely could do like amazing jump kicks. That was my thing. I could do jump side kicks. I had these hops. So I did that. I did like a little kata. And they're like, can you do any gymnastics? And I could do some flips. So I could do a back tuck. I could do a back handspring. I could do a front tuck, a front flip, and I could do a front handspring. So those are the 4 flips I knew that I could do. So I busted out a back tuck in the audition, and they were like, that was great. Now, can you put it all together?
What?
Yeah, okay, yeah, you mean everything, oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. So I had it on the moment, come up with something. So I did some hip hop. I went to a breakdance move, which looked like a flare, so my legs went up in the air and made it look like a kick. I landed, came up out of that, did some more martial arts, did a couple of kicks, punch, backflip, landed, and bowed out. And they were like, that was great, can you come back tomorrow? So I did that, I came back the next day, and the process of the audition is you audition for the casting director, then you audition for the director, then you audition for the producers, then you audition for the network, then you have another audition for the network, you do a screen test. So there's all these auditions you have to pass in order to be the character. And after about 2 weeks, they had our cast. They had 3 different casts. They had the cast that we were. Actually, David Yost, who was the Blue Ranger, auditioned to be the Red Ranger. And so in my cast, they had me, Amy Jo, Austin. No, Austin wasn't there yet. Me, Amy Jo. Trini was actually Audrey Dubois, who was a Latin girl, and she's kind of tomboyish. It was, yep, and then we had some guy as Billy, that I don't know, and we had a different guy as Austin, as Jason. So David was reading for Austin, for Jason, the Red Ranger, and they didn't like him. So they let him go from our group, and they brought in Austin St. John to be our Red Ranger, and we had another guy as Billy. So they had us read again as this cast. They kind of liked us, and then David knocked on the door. He's like, hey, sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I was wondering, can you guys read me for Billy? And they were like, we're sorry, we read you for Red Ranger, and no, we don't think you look like Billy, and it's okay. So they sent him away. So we're auditioning again, and then knocks on the door again. We're like, this guy is persistent, right? And he comes back, and he's got a whole different look. He went and borrowed somebody's shirt and somebody's glasses and messed up his hair and came back, and he looked like a Billy. So they let him come in, and he read with us, and he was excellent. So then we became the team, and they had our cast go up against two other casts. One was the tall cast, and there's Zack, like his hip hop keto was kind of Michael Jackson style. So he was like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But that, and then the other guy was kind of a pop locker, but he didn't do martial arts. And at the end of the day, we were the cast they picked, and that was the process.
Huh. Who knew how long that took? You thought
It took a long time, yeah, it was a long time. We actually were smart as actors, because what we did was we said, when we were getting close, after they picked the three teams, we said, hey guys, let's go have lunch together. So we went and had lunch, and we sat around and we talked about our characters and what our relationships were, who we were. Like, how do we know each other? Well, we know each other from high school. You do this, you do this, you do that, you do this. Zack is popular for that, and you're an athlete, and so how do we deal with, like, we thought about our relationship, who we were to each other, why we liked each other, and then that chemistry kind of came into the room when we walked into a room and we did our scene again, because now it's like we knew each other. It's like, instead of being 5 people that did know each other, we were actually friends, and that chemistry came across, and then it came across on camera. So we were fortunate to have built that together.
That's awesome. Next question. No, wait, guy right there. Go ahead.
What was it like? Did you ever get to handle the battle axe? What was it like?
The battle axe. Well, it was a prop, so it wasn't like heavy. Did you guys ever see the episode Man of Armor? Or is that what it is? Man of Armor is? They actually built a real battle axe. They built a real one, and they made it of steel, and it's like, it's huge, but the head of the axe weighs 70 pounds. Right? And it's on this pole, and when they displayed it in the show, they actually shot stuff out of it. Now what they did was they put a Roman candle on the inside, and then they let it go out, so it looked like it was shooting lasers, but it was just a Roman candle. But they actually offered to give it to me, and I don't have it as of yet. I may get it still, but that's not something that you want to fall on you, because that axe head is huge and it's sharp. They sharpened it like a real axe, and the guy on the TV show tried to chop a piece of wood, but he's fortunate that he didn't miss, because that would be easy to take your leg off, right? 70-pound axe, that does not sound happy. So on the show, I did handle the battle axe a few times. I didn't have to utilize it in the suit so much, because a lot of that footage was Sentai footage. And so I didn't have to I did a lot of transitional stuff in the suits and with the weapons, but yeah, it was cool to play with. I'm like, all right, battle axe.
What was your connection with Sentai? Like, did you guys somehow connect in any way, like either at big events or during production?
Actually, I just worked with the Green Flash Ranger from the Sentai series in Brazil. It was just him and I were the guests. And that was really cool, because the show ran in Japan for 20 years. He was in the 16th season of the show, and he was the Green Ranger, Flash. And then I was in the first series of the American series, the original cast here in America. And I can't believe it's been running for 27 years. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
It's 27 years. That's older than most of you guys, right? That is crazy. This show has been around. Thank you. So crazy. This show's been around that long.
I mean, that's what I was wondering too. Is you see these young kids who come up to you and you remember this? You remember? You're like, you weren't around when that came out. What do you say? Like, do they school you once they were like 10, 11 years old, and do they educate you on your character?
Well, they're usually pretty cool. So
Yeah.
if I meet like a 12-year-old or an 11-year-old, he often will say something like this: "Yeah, I used to watch your show when I was little." I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're still-
how old are you? 11? Okay, gotcha. Right, when you were little, the show came out 27 years ago, you're 11, gotcha. That's cool. As long as you watch the show, I'm happy. But it's amazing to me that that show has withstood the original, the Mighty Morphin has withstood time so well, because although there have been, so many different iterations of the show, Mighty Morphin tends to grab people the most. I think we have an advantage because our show is on every day. So I did 85 episodes. That's a lot of episodes, right? So I did 85 episodes, but there was also the chemistry of our show, and the chemistry as a cast, and although now the effects look kind of weird, it's like, it was already weird. It was like,
Right.
it was already a strange combination of the video that we shot for the show compared to the film that they shot in the Sentai series. And then, again, robots and dinosaurs and all kinds of craziness and putties. What were the putties? They're like bubblegum, enemies, You hit them and they don't get hurt, they just get up and, and they had a personality, they were silly, right? They were jokers, they're like, jumping off the stuff, it was crazy. That was fun.
Cool. Any more questions? Guy in the back, yeah.
So, what was the journey like from being born in Detroit and then your journey to becoming part of Power Rangers, forming up
Over to Detroit, it was, I wasn't wealthy. I grew up in a neighborhood that was a decent neighborhood, good family values mostly, not too much violence, but there was alcohol and drugs and all kinds of stuff in the neighborhood. There was one year I was going to high school. I went to a private school for the first 2 years, and then in my junior year I had to leave my private school because my mother couldn't afford it anymore, and I had to go to public school. Now, the year I went to this public school, at the homecoming dance, the president and quarterback of the football team got shot and killed at the homecoming because he stepped on somebody's shoes. Right? So it was that kind of, that's where I was living. And so I was kind of intimidated to go to school, but I went there and everything was cool. I met, friends, and I didn't have any issues. There were people that would get robbed in the bathroom for the tennis shoes or for the coats, and I just made sure I didn't wear those kind of tennis shoes. And I remember one summer, my friend who lived across the street from me was like, man, we should carry a gun, because people get robbed and so forth and so on. But my mother raised me to be the kind of person that had my own mind, so I wasn't a follower. I wasn't somebody who would be like, yeah, we should do that. If I felt some way, then that's the way I felt, and I had my own set of morals, because I was raised by a good family. And it was a group of us, there was like 6 of us, friends, we would always walk to school together. And this guy was like, yeah, we should get a gun. And I was like, man, I'm not getting a gun. It's like, as much trash as we talk to each other, we're gonna be the first people we shoot. I'm gonna shoot you for talking about my mother. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. It's like, no, if y'all wanna carry a gun, y'all go ahead, and I'll walk by myself. And so then some of my friends they agreed with him, some of the friends agreed with me, and we ended up going our separate ways. That guy went on to become a drug dealer and ended up in jail. I and my other friends, we continued to move on, and we didn't have problems. I never got robbed in high school, or I didn't get into any fights. I was fine. So coming from that childhood, I got a scholarship to go to a musical theater school, a school of performing arts in San Diego. Talk about culture shock.
Yeah.
Right? So I went from Detroit, Michigan, which is predominantly a black city, to San Diego, which is not.
Yeah.
I just remember being at a school event, and there were probably 500 people in the room, and I was looking around and I was going, I'm the only one here. Oh, that's what they mean by minority. Because I never felt as a minority in Detroit, because I was around, people that looked just like me. And then I got to San Diego, I was like, oh, okay. That's the definition of minority. That's what I say, because I'm outnumbered here, and this is crazy. And I had to make an adjustment because coming from Detroit, my temperament, my humor, my style, everything was different from what I ran into in San Diego. And over time, acclimated and made adjustments and, continue to be me, but also made, changes. Like I fixed my vernacular. I like changed my speech. Because instead of being like, yeah, man, like I'm saying, like just like going through my words and not enunciating. Well, one, I was in a school of performing arts, so I had to learn to enunciate. I had to learn to speak like everyone else. And if I was doing Shakespeare, I needed to speak Shakespeare's language, right? So I made that adjustment, and then, yes, Power Rangers took me to different places. I traveled the world. I worked on cruise ships first. I worked for Princess Cruise Lines. After I graduated from college, I met someone who said, yeah, I work on cruise ships, I travel, or I work as an entertainer, and we go to these places. And I thought, I'm gonna do that. So I found an audition in LA, and I auditioned, and I ended up working on cruise ships for 3 years. I went to everywhere. I went to Indonesia, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, Mexico, Alaska, sorry, I said Mexico. But I went to all these different places, which was mind-blowing and eye-opening, because I realized that my frame of thinking from Detroit was, black people don't do that. Like, all these different things that I had seen on television, I was like, I would never do that. And then I went to Vancouver, and there was a place you could go bungee jumping. And it was off a 275-foot bridge into a 50-foot ravine. Now, coming from Detroit, that's nothing I'm ever gonna do.
Right.
I'm not doing that. What? Tie a cord to my legs and jump off a bridge for what? What are you, stupid? I'm not doing it. Oh, no. So, but I saw it and I was curious. I'm like, I gotta go see this. So I tell my friends, hey, I'm gonna go bungee jumping. And they're like, what, are you crazy? You're not gonna do that. I'm like, yeah. I mean, at the time it was a popular thing in New Zealand, but nobody was doing it really in America, but this was in Canada. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna go. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm not gonna do it. I just wanna go see it. So I get a bunch of friends to go, and everybody's hyping each other up. You gonna go, you gonna go, you gonna go. And we get there, and the first thing I see is this lady who's like middle-aged, 45 or something like that, and she jumps off the bridge into the ravine, and she's screaming, and she's having a good time and laughing, and I'm like, oh my God, the lady just did it, and here I am, like I'm 21, I'm fit, I got muscles, I'm like, I'm a dancer, I'm like, I can do gymnastics, I'm like, I have these abilities, and I'm looking at her, and she's overweight and so forth, I'm like, dang, she did that, and then I see like a 12-year-old kid do it, and then I see like a 300-pound guy do it, and I'm like, hold on, if they can all do it, why can't I do it? Why is it that something's gonna go wrong when I do it? Why? I don't know. So my friends are like, you do a walk? I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And I have a fear of heights. I am crazily afraid of heights. But I went and they put the cord on my legs and they said, okay, so we need you to hop over to the edge of the bridge and put your toes over the edge. And there's 2 bars there, so you can hold on to the bars. So I hop over, because my legs are like this. I gotta hop like this. I hop over to the edge, hold on to the bar. I'm standing on the edge of the bridge. My butt is like, I'm so afraid. And a guy stands behind me and puts his hand on my shoulder. So I can't go anywhere. I mean, I can't walk. I can't turn around and go, get your hand off me. I'm like, if he pushes me, I'm done, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna let somebody else do this to me. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And he goes, I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, bungee, you jump. Ready? 3. I'm like, no, wait. 2, 1. And I go, ah! And I jump off this bridge, and I swear, oh my God, it was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. All I could hear was the wind going like this. And I was like, I'm gonna die. And I'm looking at the water, and I'm getting closer and closer and closer. I'm looking at the water, and there's rocks under the water you can see. There's huge boulders that you can see under the water. I'm like, I can dive, I can swim, but this is gonna hurt. And I'm like, okay, prepare for embrace and for impact, and I'm ready to go in the water, and all of a sudden, the water's going away. And I'm like, wait, I'm going up. I never felt it stop. It didn't stop. It goes like this. Right? So as I'm going up, I'm realizing I'm going up, and I'm not gonna hit the water, and I'm ready to celebrate. I'm not gonna die. And now I look up, and the bridge is coming at me. I'm like, no, the bridge. But just before I hit the bridge, I fall back down, and at this point, I realize it's gonna get shorter and shorter and shorter. So now I'm celebrating. I'm having the most amazing time. I am so exuberant that I've done this, and I'm gonna survive, and I'm gonna live. They after it stops, they lower me down to a boat in this water, and I get in the boat, and I am petrified. And my body is like, I can't move. I just want to hold on to anything solid. I'm laying on the boat like, and we get over. My friends are up top yelling. They're like, yeah, what, yeah, and I'm like waving, but I want to cry at the same time. And then I get out of the boat. I crawl out of the boat, but I try to be cool about it. And then I walk all these stairs to get to the top of the cliff. By the time I got to the cliff, to the top, I was cool. Yo, what's up?
What's up? You know me.
But I was so petrified, but I'll tell you, it changed my life because I never thought I would ever do anything like that. I never thought, coming from Detroit, that I would do something like that. That was way out of my scope of even comprehensible thought, that I would do something like that. And once I did it, I knew I could do anything. I could do anything. I did that. So it opened up my world to make me believe, wow, I can, if other people can do this, I can do it. There's nothing stopping me. I'm capable. Why should I believe that it's going to be me that something negative happens to? So now I've been bungee jumping, I've been skydiving, I've been hang gliding, I've gone jet skiing, I've gone water skiing, I snowboard, I ridden a dog, I ridden a dog team, sled dogs, 11 dog sled team across ice. I've walked across glaciers, I've taken helicopters to wild animal areas, and I've done so many cool things in my life at this point. Going from Detroit, from that environment to where I am now, my eyes are wide open, and all I want to do is motivate everybody else to go out and experience life, because I believe life is the adventure you create for yourself.
That's true. So true.
And so if you're not having an adventure, then you're not embracing your life. You know what I'm saying? So always believe that you can do anything and do everything. That's what I think.
So we got time for, yeah, that was awesome. One more question. We're going to head Saxon and back up. Yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
Did you ever get kind of alpha or call you all the time if we do something out of the road?
Do I ever do what about Alpha?
I mean, get mad at him when you do something at the road.
Yeah, well, you know what, man? I was trying to have that date with Angela. You know, I was like right in the middle of it. I was like, yeah, this is good. I got the arm around her. She's having a good time. Oh, she's scared. Come here, girl. Hey. No! No! This is not the right time, Alpha and Zordon. And yeah, and they always found inopportune times to call a brother and tell him to come to work. Zack, we need you at work. I'm like, oh, Zordon, man, come on. Call Tommy. He said he could come in. He got the Brachiosaur, it's cool. Just, he likes to play that flute.
So Walter, you're still up there up in the fan deck,
Yes.
right? You're doing selfies. You got photos up there.
Selfies, photos, yes. I got music playing, so come on up and even if you can't get a photo or autograph, come and get a card. Come and do some dancing. Hey.
There you go.
Check it out. It'll be fun.
Have a good time. All right, give it up for Walter Jones. Yeah, you can see him up in the fan deck. You only got a couple hours left.